Okay. Okay, so welcome. So excited for our webinar in the Ask and It Is Given group. This webinar, when I posted this event, it's called The Art of Allowing. And so for those of you who are familiar with the teachings of Abraham Hicks talks about the art of allowing, and they used to call it in the beginning the science of deliberate creation. When they started, they talked about the science of deliberate creation. And then the way Abraham talks about that, as they say, then you humans turned it into this big doing. All of a sudden, it was like a thing you had to do, and so it got a little bit too wrapped up in that. And so then they looked at and referred to the art of allowing as something that was a little bit more easy and probably more descriptive of how creation is actually happening. So let me see where to start. As I was thinking about this, so those distinctions, the art of creation, our group is about that. It is ask and it is given. It is about how thoughts turn into things. How do we create in our experience? How do we create the things that we desire in life? And so it is more about the art of allowing than it is about a deliberate kind of creation. And so when you think about creating and what it is that you want to create, the beginning part of it would say, what is it that you want? And so what is it that you want? And a lot of people, typically when they enter into this and start inquiring into this, they think, yes, that's the first step. I'm going to have to think about what it is that I want. I'm going to have to make sure that I consider what I want, and that's going to require me thinking about it and determining it. This is not the way, not really the way that it happens. And so consider that what you want, the way I said it is that everything you want is known. It is already known. Everything you want is known. And really, everything you want is known and exists already as possibility and is also ready to manifest into your experience. And so part of that I said, you're probably protesting that. You're probably saying, well, that can't be because I don't even know what I want. So what do you mean everything I want is already known? I don't even know what I want. And the way that what you want is known is really by you being clear about what you do not want. So this is requires a bit of a backtrack, but the idea of who you really are, because anytime we talk about creating, you create your own reality. The most important word in there is you. You create your own reality. And if you get the you wrong, it's pretty messy. So when we say you create your own reality, who is it that we are talking about? And who we are not talking about is the you that you think you are. So we are talking about a you that is far more than you think. So the you we are talking about is far more than you think. Abraham would describe it as who you are is pure source energy consciousness. who you are is pure source energy consciousness, and a part of you is focused into this physical existence, while the greater part of you remains non-physically focused. So there is this consciousness that is who you really are, focused into a you that you and I are more familiar with. So, and the you that we tend to think of ourselves as is the you that is a more finite you that is focused here into this physical reality and focused into this physical body. So as we focus into this physical existence, the you are really existing in a environment of contrast, or another way to describe that is a variety. So as pure source energy consciousness, there is only consciousness. There is no distinction. It's all consciousness. In a way, we could say it is all an energy and a vibration is all that there is. As we focus into this contrast, the contrast allows things to distinguish, to appear, to be perceived by us. And as you exist in contrast, contrast causes us to focus. So it causes us to focus. What arises within this physical existence is a preferences arise. So preferences arise. And now this is important in that you don't do preference. You're not walking around saying, this is what I want. In fact, what you are doing is walking around and you will notice preference arise. So from this perspective in which you are focused, you will see children starving, and you will notice that what you desire is for everyone to be fed and for there to be enough. Right? You will notice your bank account has no money in it, and then you will notice that there's a desire that there be more, or that there be an abundance. So this isn't a thing that you do, but rather something that you notice. So what is it that you want is something that arises and it is unique to you. So I want to distinguish that from something that you conjure, like walking around saying, okay, so I want a certain amount of money and I got to think about a house that I'm going to live in, and I'm going to want it to be big. Right? And then the car that I want, and I'm going to have to think about that. So as if you're going to conjure these things that you are going to create. Not quite like that. So you are existing in this contrast or duality. Duality is an appearance. And by the way, if we are talking about creation, we are talking about duality. This is how it's created, is in duality, in a contrast. Rupert Spira, I love his explanation of that, is when, he's a non-dualist, and non-dualists say that it's all consciousness. And Rupert Spira is also very clear that if you're talking about creation, then you are talking about duality. So otherwise it's consciousness, right? So, but we're talking about creation. When we're talking about creation, it is duality, and duality has the thing and the absence of the thing, right? So there is money and the absence of money. There is this thing that I want to be in a relationship, and then there is no relationship, right? So it is in the contrast that I'm able to distinguish things. So in this knowing that who you are. That's very important in this art of allowing. And then this idea of that what you want is not something that you really necessarily think about and have to make sure you pin it down exactly. You know, what's really funny about this is that when you think about who you are, pure source energy consciousness, and many of you in the Three Principles community will also know that we talk about being connected to infinite intelligence. So we're connected to infinite intelligence. We're connected to mind. We are connected to the source and intelligence that has created the universe. And then we say, but you know, but I've got to get it right in terms of making sure that I tell infinite intelligence what it is I want. You know, it's this car, not that car, and it's in black, not in red, right? Because if I don't do that, obviously infinite intelligence, creator of the universe, would be incapable of figuring that out. So in fact, the what you want is known before you even want it. And here's the cool thing. One of the first acts of allowing that you will do is to allow the thought, the form of what you want to occur to you. So as opposed to you conjuring what it is that you want, one of the earliest manifestations is going to be the thought, the articulation of the thing that you want. It will start to occur to you. So as you're walking around in contrast, the part you're really clear about is what Abraham talks about as step one. Contrast. Step one, what I do not want. That is the sparking of of the desire. That is the beginning of all creation, is in the clarity of I don't want that. Right? So I don't have any, you know, I've got a business and I don't have any clients, and this is terrible, and I don't even know how to get clients, and right, so that I don't want, that is the beginning of all creation. Because as you are present to what you do not want, you haven't noticed that what is equally intense and strong is the possibility of what is wanted instead. The two arise together, and your focus is on the unwanted, missing, or absent side of it. Creation is about creating something. Creation is creating something, not the absence of a thing. So as you notice what's missing, what infinite intelligence registers is the wanted side of that. So from your unique perspective, infinite intelligence is hearing, has formed, has the possibility has arisen of what it is that you want instead, although you were focused on what is unwanted. So although you were focused on what is unwanted, infinite intelligence, the bigger part of you, is very clear about what you are asking for. So that's step one. That clarity of what you are asking for would be step two, which is when you ask, step two is it is given. The two arise instantaneously together. You cannot know what you do not want without, in that same moment, what you want arising instantly together. So when you ask, it is given, and it is given instantly. It is given in that same moment. However, the what you want is given as a possibility. And so then step three, which is this webinar, is the art of allowing, because step 3 becomes you must allow what you've asked for that has now been given to flow into your experience, to be expressed, experienced, perceived by you, to be realized by you, realized, made real. It exists as potential and possibility, and you, through your unique perspective, will realize it, will make it real in your experience. And so that becomes the art of allowing. And how that happens is, we're already in a seed has been planted, right? So, because in all creation, a good way to see it, and even if you think about the word allowing, when you plant, if you're planting a plant, right, you take a seed, you put it in the ground, and then there is an allowing that plant to grow. There isn't really anything that you do other than love, nurture it, make sure you're not killing it is pretty much the only thing. That's the help you can provide. Just try not to kill the thing, because it already has its own life force, and it will come through into manifestation. So this is the same thing with anything that you want. When the thing that you want in the early stages is really this non-physical possibility, right? And it for you, it's just felt as, initially, it's like felt as this missing thing, right? Which I want to be in a relationship, I'm not in a relationship, or maybe I am in a relationship, but I want the relationship to be better. Well, the only reason you want the relationship to be better is because your attention has been on what's wrong with it, right? So the what's wrong with it is the part that is you see what's wrong with it, and the bigger part of you is very clear on what's wanted in it. See, and what's wanted in the relationship can be created, that can be manifested. And the creator that is really you is only ever focused on creating. You're the one here in the physical form, focused on the problem and what's missing side of it. The creator that is you is, I got that, and instantly focused on the creation of it, and instantly focused on the possibility of it, with the potential of it. The beginning is energy, vibration, the essence of the better relationship. So it doesn't have much form to it, right? It's an energy, it's a feeling, really, is what it is, which you will want to, what allowing is allow that energy to come through into more and more form. 3 principles, people, right? Sydney Banks said that the missing link between formless and form is first via thought. First via thought. So here you are sitting there, you've created, and the thing that you want will occur to you first via thought. So the beginning of it is a thought, which, thought is pretty, it's non-physical also. But this is why, when I said in the art of allowing, one of the first bits that you are allowing is literally even the thought of the thing that you want. You're maybe in a job, and so you're in a job, and you're looking around going, boy, I don't like this. I have to be in there at a certain time. And my boss is terrible because they micromanage me. And then, this work, there's all these routine parts of it. And so again, you're living in a don't want this, don't want this, don't want this, right? And the bigger part of you is picking up the elements of, freedom and creative work and collaborators that engage you and really interesting work that challenge you and allows you to grow. So that greater intelligent part of you is registering what is to be created in a career or a thing. Now, as you continue to live your life in an allowing, what happens is this potential and possibility begins to occur to you as, maybe I should start my own business. This was a thought, right? So you sit with it a bit, and then all of a sudden something comes to you, and it comes like an insight. So notice the difference here of I receive a thought compared to, I can't stand this job. I can't stand my boss. I can't stand the kind of work that I do. I need to figure this out, because if I stay in this much longer, it's like going to be horrible. So I got to figure this out, right? And now here you are figuring this out, right? So that's not what we're talking about. So because the minute you start figuring it out, you are of the energy and focus, vibration of unwanted. And every thought that you have is being inspired from this unwanted place. Einstein said, you'll never solve your problems at the same level of thinking in which you created them. And that's an example of that. You are, when you are focused on what's wrong with this relationship and what are we going to do about it, right? It is every idea that you have is going to come from that vibration of what is wrong with this. And so those are the ideas you get, and as they're sourced out of that vibration will get stronger, and you will get more and more and more and more of that problem manifesting bigger and bigger. So when you instead relax, thoughts occur to you. They will have a very different feeling to them. You may be in the shower or you may be out for a walk. And when the thought occurs to you, I should start my own business, there will be a very different feeling in that thought. Or a thought will occur to you that may seem so irrelevant. This is the other thing about how a thought occurs to you that's completely irrelevant. It's a thought that says, I should call my friend Mary. Well, how is that helpful? I'm trying to figure out my career here. And then a thought occurs to you like you should call your friend Mary. So when you're in a mode of allowing, right, and that thought occurs and it sounds, oh, wow, I haven't heard from Mary in a while. Then you end up calling Mary, who tells you about, this company she just joined or this person, and which all of a sudden leads to more and more and more, which was directly in answer to the thing that you were asking or wanting to create. So the creation, the coming into form of the thing that you want happens via thought, and sometimes those thoughts are going to maybe not make sense. So they're not going to make sense. They're not going to seem like they're even relevant to this, but they become on the path of you realizing the thing that you want. Let me see. What else did I want to say about that? Oh yeah, so this is the part, you got to be careful not to kill it. So when you're in an allowing mode and a thought comes to you. For example, if it comes to you to say, maybe I should start my own business. The next thing that you might do is say, well, that's crazy. I've never been in business before. What do I know about starting my own business? Right. So notice what just happened there. A thought came, and then I stomped on it. It's like a seed got planted, and then I just walked over and stomped on it with my foot. So this is resistance, right? So the art of allowing is allowing that possibility to come into form through you. What we do, we cause our own trouble. What makes it so difficult for us is that we resist our desires, and all resistance is thought. So how we resist is with a thought against the thing that we want. And so that thought is in resistance, and all thought is like beliefs. Well, I don't know anything about this. I don't have any. I don't have enough contacts. I mean, how am I going to do this? So all those kinds of thoughts come. And now the art of allowing, it's all in the feeling. Here you are living your life. One thought comes. It has a particular feeling to it. It's kind of exciting, maybe. It's like a possibility. It shows up. It's like, oh, what? Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? And then you immediately take some thought and squash it, right? And that's got a different feeling, like, I don't know, disappointment in it, or, maybe there's no hope. Maybe I'm stuck in this job for a while, whatever. So those types of thoughts. So in the art of allowing, what we're doing is really, to what degree am I allowing this creation to express into form? Contrast with, to what degree am I blocking it? I think the one thing I want to say is that this is good to know. I think I put it in the description. When you do block that, what you do when you block desire is you actually make it stronger. So this is good to know. Once a desire has arisen in you, you have become more than you were. You have become more than you were. The desire expands the possibility of who you are. Right? So, because the reason you want what you want is because of the state of being you believe is going to be there. So when I talked about that career thing, it's kind of like, why I want that is because then I would be free, and then I'd be more creative, and then I could be, more engaged and more collaborating with people. Like, so you see, there's this way of being that is really what I want. And I believe that to get to that way of being is going to be by being in my own business, right? And having my own business. But the real desire is this way of being. And this is when we said who you really are. So from the articulation of the desire, who you really are just expanded and became more. And so all of those descriptors I gave you, more free, more creative, more collaborative, who you really are, the possibility of who you are, all that you are, just became more. That you, who you really are, will never ever be less than what you have become. You can never be less than what you have become. So here's the deal. You can't take back your desire. You can't take back your desire. Life has caused you to expand and become more. You can't take it back. So who you are as a possibility has become more. So that remains. Now, if you resist, right? So, but I can't really do that. I should really stay in this job. There's more security in it. And I stay in the job, hating it even more. What do you think that contrast is going to do? You know, my boss gets even pickier, and, you know, the coworkers are even more uncooperative. You know, what do you think that contrast is doing? The contrast is causing and evoking an asking that's even stronger than where we started. So in the resistance, I am more present to unwanted, which source energy, all that I am, is hearing more wanted. So, and the way Abraham says this is when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. When you really know what you don't want, you really know what you do want. When you really, really, really know what you don't want, you really, really, really know what you do want, right? The stronger you do not want this, the stronger the what you want is. They are a polarity where with source energy only on what is to be created. So the desire is held, you will never be less than what you've become. And through the course of continual living, especially in resistance, that who you are just gets stronger. So here's what's really cool about this. You cannot let go of desire. You know, there's this, some people are thinking like, you know, it's just too painful. I don't know why I even desire all these things, because what I should do is just give it up. And I can just give it up, and then I can, I'd be happier, because then I wouldn't have this whole pull thing going on. And Abraham says, well, you cannot give up your desire. The only thing you can give up is your resistance to that desire. So the giving up is never of the desire, because the desire is all that you've become, and you can never be less than all that you have become. And that will continue to be the source of who you are, and that you will feel in you, and how it will feel wanting to express into form through you is it feels as desire. That's so, and what that means is that there is it isn't like a desire for a car, really. What it is really is this desire for more. It is a desire for more. Remember, I said you are far more than you think. So here you are in form, being a particular way. You are far more than you think. That desire, wanting to express through, is calling you to be more. It calls you to be more. And so that will never go away. And in the resistance, it will get stronger. It will get stronger. And so you cannot give up desire. Your only option is to drop resistance. Right? And so as you drop resistance, then more of this can begin to express through you. Yeah, so you'll never go back. You'll never be less than what you've become. And this is good to know, because what's good to know about this is you can't mess this up. So it's perfectly fine. It's all going to work. There's this, what you want, it's being created, it's held for you, and it's just waiting. And it's about the art of allowing. Now, the allowing, how does that happen in the allowing part is, well, relax. Because the difference is when you're in contrast, the emotions are very disharmonious, let's say, to who you really are. So these emotions of, frustration or anger or hopelessness or all of that are really emotions that are distant from who you really are. And so as you think in opposition to yourself, you will feel yourself. What it is it will feel painful, right? So as you think against yourself, you will feel it. It's going to hurt. And as you relax and just allow, it feels better. And then with the momentum law of attraction, as you start allowing with less resistance, the vibration is more aligned. And then as that vibration is more aligned, law of attraction makes it more, right? But it just makes it more in whatever direction it's going. So, and as it makes it more in like that. So I think why don't we pause there and let's see, we can open it up and if anyone has questions, and I haven't had a chance to read, so if there is stuff in the chat, whoever has it in there, maybe if you could just talk it out, that would make it easier, or someone can read it out if you see questions in the chat.
I love talking this stuff out.
Hey, Ellen, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
See, it's easy to read the chat. This is about great relationships, right? Great new relationships, as I think we might have talked about this a couple of years ago. So I'm all about, yes, allowing, fantastic. And I know that there's endless opportunities. When you listen to Abraham, they're like, I'm all around you, just allow it. And so I'm like, yeah, I think I'm allowing it. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, and nothing's happening. So I just heard you say, well, relax. And I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds easy. And yeah, so here we are. That's the question. How do I allow better? How do I relax better when I think I'm allowing, but I must not be allowing properly?
Oh, cool. And by the way, that's really good, because when you're a match to something, it manifests, right? So that's part of how do you know, whether you are in alignment with that which you've asked for. Well, it starts manifesting. It'll manifest. And yeah, so Abraham talks about two different ways. One is you can tell by the way you feel, because it feels good, right? It just feels good. And number two is you can tell by what's manifesting around you, right? So in the non-manifesting, that'll give you a clue. And then, Alan, if I ask you, if you think about relationship,
yep.
How does that feel when you think about it?
Easy. So that's the best word that I can explain. Like when that's there, there's an ease, there's a joy, there's a sharing, there is a seamlessness.
Okay. And now, like in the moment now, as you think about relationship and how your life is in regards to relationship, how does that feel?
So I'm having a great time. I'm living my best life. So that's all smooth. And it's not a huge emptiness. It's like wouldn't that be nice?
Okay, cool.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. Now that's really good. Because as you look to the subject, if the subject felt bad.
Oh, yeah.
If the subject felt bad, like, oh my God, they're just, relationships, they're impossible. It's like a needle in a haystack. You can't find it. And I don't know that I ever will. Like if it feels bad, right, then right away, that's telling you, oh my God, there's so much resistant thought, right? So that's an important thing to know, because that would be it would kind of be like, then the best thing in that regard is stop thinking about it.
Right. Relax.
Yeah, stop thinking about it. Go for a walk, like spend time with your dog, do something else.
Yeah.
Because attention to relationship, you can here, this is what the feeling tells you. The feeling, if it was bad like that, would say, I'm blocking everything with my thought, right? And I can tell by my feeling, so I'm not a vibrational match to it. When it's easier, right? So I'm happy, and wouldn't it be nice? It would be great. It would be nice. That's cool. That's better. That is a more allowing state. That is, yeah. So that is a more allowing state. That is a more open state to something coming, right? So go on from there.
Well, it's very funny you say this, right? Because I decided that, wouldn't this be nice? So you go back on Match, which I had canceled, right? But then, July 2nd, I went back up, and now there's like 5 messages for me to respond to, right? So they're there, but now I'm like, oh, but right? And so now I'm almost like, well, there's a second level of allowing that now needs to happen. It isn't just,
oh, good.
Look at this, right? Now there's a look at this, but now it's like, oh, do I let them in, right?
Yeah. Okay, that's excellent, right? And by the way, this is this is like art. It's
the art of allowing.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Okay, so but it is like art in a way that in 3P, I think we talk about creating, like it's really created with thought. It's created with thought. In a way, there's like a blank canvas, and I'm painting with thought onto it, colors and different things, right? So when you think about relationship, and so there was enough allowing in the way you described it, that is like, I think I'm going to go back and look, right?
Yeah.
Match.com or whatever. And now what you notice is the next level, for instance, the next level of resistance. Right?
Or allowing, they're related, yeah.
Or allowing, yes. Yeah. Right? Because you go there and then you kind of go, oh yeah, but look at these goofy people, right? Like, or whatever. This is exactly why I got off it in the first place, right? Because
this is different now. It's like, oh, this is interesting. Where did all these people come from? Where were they? Yeah.
Okay, cool. So that's great. So that feeling, what you just said, actually says that you're in a different, more open, more allowing place than maybe when you were on before, right?
I'm thinking.
Yeah, because the feeling, so why is the feeling important? It's not like we're going around, I mean, we should, but I was going to say, it's not like we're going around trying to feel good. Well, why not? We should be going around trying to feel good.
That's what I do every day.
Yeah, but with the information and the feeling is that the feeling good means you are resonant, very aligned, more aligned with all that you've become, right? Now, all that you've become is more than you were even 2 years ago when you were in this, right? Mm-hmm. So because again, in the relationship thing, contrast caused you to ask more specifically. Mm-hmm. So there was something, and a situation and examples, and I like this, but I don't like that, and I like this, but I don't like that, and it caused you to get more and more specific, caused the possibility and all that you become to become more clear. And so whatever last time you would have gone on this site, you might have thought this is terrible or whatever, and now you go on and you go, oh my God, where were all these people before? Right? Or something like that. That is so now you are looking at this in a way, see, it feels better. That is because your perspective of what you're seeing is more aligned and closer to this more intelligent part of you that knows everything you want. And that intelligent part of you that is seeing that sees it with different eyes because there's no resistance.
That's true.
Cool. So what do you see in
Well, it's funny because I think I'd know that, but then when you stop and think about it, it's like, oh yeah. And so this next step is it's just easy. If it's not easy, then it's not your person.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, that was really, see, that was so allowing. Wait, you just did. This is how you know. It's like, this is not hard work.
It's not hard work. It's not hard work. No.
Right? Now, the only way it turns into hard work is when you actually think you have to work at it, because you're like, oh my God, now what? If I go out with that person, but then how do I know it's the right person? Right? It's okay. That's just like noise. Right?
Yeah. When you start thinking it's all this hard work, then you're on the wrong one. Then you just got to stop and relax.
Yeah. And here's the other part with this is your wisdom comes to you in the present moment. That wisdom is only now, like now. So what does that mean? It is so much like a navigation system in a car, right? And the way a navigation system in a car is...
Tesla, yes.
Yeah, or yeah. Okay, maybe not like a Tesla, but no, but the navigation system in a car is giving you the very next instruction. So at that intersection, you would make a right. There is not a navigation system that's telling you, by the way, once you're 20 kilometers down the road, after you've gotten off the highway and then you've turned onto the side street, over there, you're going to be making a left onto a crescent. It's like, what the hell?
That's a good point.
It is not giving you any of that information. The only information is giving you right now. And so right now, as you go onto the site and you see the choices, is kind of like the impulses and promptings are, hey, you should get back to this person. Right?
Yeah.
Hey, you should, right? That's all you get. Now, when we start to go, okay, but that person, they're like this. That's not really my type. And then that's and that, and hang on a second, you're like 8 dates down the road. What are you doing? There's no wisdom there. You're on your own. You're on your own thinking this up because your wisdom is giving you right now what the next step is on the path toward all that you want.
That's cool.
Yeah. Is that?
Yeah. And I'll keep you posted.
Thank you. Cool. All right. And sorry, I'm gonna move stuff so that if anybody either raises a hand or whatever, but just unmute. I mean, that's fine too. I know there were some questions we had in the group as well. Oh, yeah, Pat.
Right. How I came into this years and years ago and didn't follow a lot through. Now years have gone, I'm listening to you. It seems like totally different, which I don't even know what I remembered what it was. Right, this sounds, I don't know how to word it. How do you get this without trying to get it and intellectually? So some of the things you're saying, yeah, so I'm sitting and I want to relax and I just want to hear what you're saying and see how it feels and what's happening. But the other part of me wants to get it and work it out and write down notes that I'm writing, then I don't understand what I'm writing and missing what you're saying. So it seems a really silly question, but to start, there's moments when you're talking when I just feel I know what you're saying. But if I try and then work it out, what you're saying, I actually don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
If this makes sense. So how, say I'm brand new to this, how do I get this without working at it? Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm even trying to say, really.
Yeah, well, you've done a good job of saying it, because it's actually all showing up right in that, even right in here, right? Because even the effort in this isn't helpful, right? So the effort in this isn't helpful, right? Here's the thing, like, so trying to figure out what I'm saying is nowhere near as important as trying to figure out, so, but how do I listen to myself when it comes to creation? Right? I mean, that, if I could get that, would be far more helpful than trying to figure out what I'm saying anyway. So the part that I'm pointing to and is more of, how does this feel? And when I get that, I can then, it's this feeling or sense that then allows me to listen to myself and my own wisdom. Because Dominic doesn't know what I want anyway, and so he's not going to be very helpful, right? But if I could figure out how to tune in to me, that can be very helpful to me, and helpful to me forever. The trickiness in this is it is a feeling. Now, what's this feeling we're getting at? You know, by the way, so many people talk about this, like in Three Principles, Sydney Banks said the same thing. So he would say, listen for a feeling. He would say, follow the feeling, listen for a feeling, right? So he was pointing in the similar thing about this feeling. No matter what you want or what you're trying to do, ultimately this comes down to, if you can be here in this moment, aligned to all that you are, it's going to work out. How do you like that? If you can be here aligned to all that you are, it's going to be perfectly fine. Because what that means is that you're showing up right here, right now. You're going to work in your job. You're talking to your boss. You're all that. And showing up aligned to all that you are. Well, what's that mean? Well, that means that you have infinite intelligence. You've got infinite intelligence on your side. Your boss says this and you'll say that. You walk into a meeting and they'll do that and you'll do this. And it's like, it's because you're showing up, let's say, at your best. You are showing up as all of you, right? So let's say that that's really all that matters. If you did that, then that is a high state of allowing, and you would go on to live a joyful life, creating all that you want. It would be wonderful, right? But how do I do that, right? So this feeling is how I do it. It's a 24/7 guidance that is coming at you all the time. So let's say that the feeling of this real alignment with all that I am is like balance on a bicycle. I'm riding a bicycle and I hit the balance point, is like, holy, this is all amazing. 2 wheels and I'm riding, right? So that's the balance. And in that balance, I'm in pure alignment with all that I am, right? It's highest level of performance, greatest ability to achieve what I want, to be living a joyful, happy life. Balance. How do I get to balance? Well, the only way to get to balance is to feel for it. If I was on this webinar right now, instead of talking about what we're talking about, if this conversation had been about balance, imagine how funny it would be if people were taking notes. Like, what the hell is everybody doing? This is not helpful. Because it's not helpful, because the whole thing's a feeling, right? And you go on and you're like, okay, so what did he say? What did he say you do when you tip to the left? I don't remember. Whereas once you start feeling, now you don't need to hear me because you actually have your own information.
Well, you've explained what I've been experiencing that I couldn't say in words, because there's moments when I'm just calm and peaceful, I'm listening to you, that I feel I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But then if I then go, what is he talking about? And then start to write the note, I fall off the bike.
Right.
When I'm on the bike, just being on the bike and being there, if that's what you're saying,
Yes.
I seem to somehow inside get what you're saying. But if I then question, like on the bike, then I'll fall off it. And then I'm sitting here going, he's talking Chinese. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Very good. Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
I'm going to go on. I'm going to let you talk because I'm feeling things that I don't want to get in here with, if that makes sense.
Perfect. And that, if the 3P people have probably heard that story where Sid Banks said, if you're listening to this on tape, because in those days they were tapes, because if you're listening to this on tape and you get a good feeling, eject the tape and throw it out the car window. Because the good feelings got it, like you got it, and then you don't need anything else, right? So, and the reason this is the art of allowing is what happens is when you get a feel for it. If you imagine someone just starting to ride the bike because they don't get this balance thing, they start wobbling. Like you watch them and they're like, whoa, I almost hit the ground there, right? Right? They're like doing like that. Later on, as they get going, you start to notice them. They're so steady. But here's what's not to aspire to, is to actually believe that you will ever achieve this state of pure alignment. You actually don't want to. It's not what you're here for. You're here for the creative potential and possibility that arises as you are always slightly deviating from all that you are. That is what sparks a desire for more. And so the art of it is you just start to, you're never worried, right? You're like, kind of go off, you come back, you go off, you come back. Now you've really mastered this art of allowing. There's nothing to worry about. I mean, so what? I make the corner, I'm going to ride through the corner and I'm going to tip on this side. I know what I'm doing. I lean over a little bit and I tip, but this doesn't worry me. And but I know how to maintain this balance. It's perfectly fine. Yeah.
Would that be also something you said, I can't just to finish, is, what was it? It was about when I'm not in alignment, we'll just say, when I go off balance, that really is getting more uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, really good.
And then really it's like, I don't want to be, yeah.
This is really good. You have 24/7, every second, you've got wisdom communication, right?
Yeah.
You never do not. And the way wisdom does it is you go do whatever you do, and wisdom is really saying to you, you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer, you're getting warmer. You are moving toward what you desire and what you want. Or wisdom says to you, you're getting colder, you're moving away. And how wisdom does that is by the way it feels. You are either moving toward feeling good and feeling better, or you are moving away from that. And this is all happening in the way you are thinking. So thinking is creating, and feeling is the indicator for the direction of your creation. So if, Alan, I use you as the example, right? The desire is in a relationship, and thinking is what is going to create it, what is going to manifest it. When Alan thinks in the direction that takes her toward a relationship that she desires, it will feel better and better and better and better and better. That's the feeling of it. She'll get on Match.com. She'll get there. She'll see this. She'll be looking forward to going on that. She'll meet the person. She'll think it's great. Even the person who's no good, she'll think, but what a good time I had, right? What a great time. I'm looking forward to the next one. This is fun. This is so much fun. You never know who you meet and what you learn. And boy, that made me even more clear on what I want and what I don't want, right? So when you think in alignment with what you want, it feels good. If you deviate and you start thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to find anybody. This is like now the 5th date and I'm never going to find anybody. Okay, now you will feel the pain of that.
Yeah, that's it. The pain gets worse and
worse.
Whatever the situation is, it's like, God, I feel terrible.
And that is what's saying, this is the wisdom guiding, saying, hey, you keep thinking like that. You're just moving away. You're getting colder. You're getting colder, right? You are thinking, creating with thought against yourself.
Yeah.
You are thinking against yourself. You are in the way of yourself. You are in the way of what you want. And so you can feel it and correct. That's the balance. Right? Yeah. You can start to feel it and correct. It's like, you don't have to think that. Why don't you go for a walk instead? Why are you thinking that? So you don't have to entertain something that's going against. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pat. So I'm realizing the time, and I think we've got one bigger question in there, and I haven't had a chance to read it. So maybe what we'll do, Samara, maybe what I'll do, unless you want to come on and speak out your question, or otherwise what we'll do is maybe I'll get the chat and then I'll try to cover in the group. I don't even see where Samara is on my screen. So, okay. So maybe what I'll do, yeah. So sorry, if Samara, is yours a question that's going to be long, or is it something? Oh, okay. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to download the chat anyway, and I'm going to see what questions were in there. And then I'm going to, in the group, maybe we'll start a few more discussions and conversations. Thanks everyone for joining. Awesome. Look forward to seeing you again in a few weeks on another webinar. And please engage online and keep asking your questions and exploring with me. Awesome. Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks. Cheers.
Awesome. Bye.